Hey, what's up, Happy New Year to everybody. I hope you're enjoying the lockdown or you live in a country with smart people. Whatever the case may be, I'm hoping that you have a wonderful year and that, all your intentions, will come to fruition. Anyways, I am here for part 2 of my 700-ish Orange Space Guys table project, and I figured I will just go ahead and start assembling these suckers, and I think it's going to take forever, so rest assured we'll go to speed up mode in just about a minute. But one more time, here are all the legs, all the torsos. I think I should open this. And yeah, with gas tanks. Going with classic heads. And the helmets. I got 3 prepared here just to get a feel on how all this will turn out. I don't know if how many levels I can put on top of this. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. And thanks for being here. And enjoy. As you see this video speed up and me building stuff, I figured I would just talk a little bit about collecting and how my last year of collecting went. I purchased a lot of minifigures on the rare to really rare scale. I completed my Monterey Race 5K minifigure collection, except for, I think, a minifigure that has like a foundation kind of print on the end. So I'm planning to work on a video for that coming up. I have bought a bunch more employee business card minifigures, which I am just a sucker for. I just love them, and they're unfortunately kind of pricey on eBay and other contacts. So, hey, if you work at Lego and you want to start a relationship with a collector and overall appreciator of Lego, hit me up. By the way, if you haven't seen the part 1 of this video, I kind of show the table how it looks right now. It's an IKEA table that is slightly modified with some base plates that I just stuck on it, and I did a perimeter of the large 6x5 windows around, and then I had a piece of glass cut. That cost like, I don't know, maybe 50 bucks or so. Just a slab of glass that matches the exact outside diameter of the table, and put that on top. Nothing is really craggled there. The glass just slides on top, and you can just look inside and see all these. I think it's like 550-ish sort of random minifigures that I call sort of like just from the pit, because I don't really have any idea who they are, how they're put together, or, for now they were just sort of like parts and pieces in my mind, just to use to complete other figs that I'm currently working on. And as you may know, I am collecting on 2 ends. I buy new sets if I can afford it, and sort of like white glove the minifigs out of it, and then give the sets to friends who have kids, stuff like that. Then I collect the ultra rare ones, like I previously mentioned, with eBay and other contacts that I've sort of started in the Lego community over the years. And then I collect vintage minifigures as well, but I buy it in bulk and then just put it together at night. I sit there at the computer and I get great enjoyment out of just being that geek, crazy dude that just sits there at night and looks up the random city torso, or it's just so much. But every once in a while I come across a really cool colored sort of torso, and then I go on Bricklink and just look up the torso and see what head went with it and hairpiece. And over the years I sort of like accumulated a bunch of stuff, and so I have this little fishing tackle box, a very common thing among the Lego people. And in those drawers I have various little items, bows, quivers, whatnot, all that stuff that belongs to the fig and makes it whole again the way it came out in whatever random set from, I don't know, 80s, 90s, 2000s. That's where the vintage collecting actually comes in so handy, because it's affordable to buy 2 pounds of loose Lego parts wherever you find that, on Facebook Marketplace or whatever that, you know, eBay. And then it's sort of like a cool thing that is relatively cheap and gets you going into the world of collecting and learning about minifigures, themes, and everything cool that goes with it. And it's a really, like I explained a lot, it's a really cool and relaxing hobby that I have done over a decade now. And a lot of times I don't really think that the most expensive one is the coolest. It's not like that. I really am gravitating towards crazy colors from my childhood. I think in the 80s and in the 90s, early 90s, they still had really weird colors and designs going on. And nowadays I find myself sort of like liking those and digging the style they used to be back in the days. The fancy prints and the crazy stuff and toe printing and dual molding and, you know, side of the arm and side of the legs and all that stuff is all fun and cool. But I also am super down with just some classic old gray legs and just a regular torso with nothing much on it. I started with one minifig, you know, it was like the one fig, and that sort of like lit a light. And I'm like, oh my God, I remember my childhood, how much fun I had being all by myself, playing with Lego space and all that. And then I started collecting, and you know, 1 turns into 10, turns into 100, and it's all still okay and pretty easy to handle. And you get little plastic boxes and protect them. And then I think once I had like maybe 500 or 700 or so, and they were all in different Ziploc bags, then I was starting to realize that I can't continue this way by just sort of like, oh, that's a cool fig. I probably don't have that. Let's add that to the collection. I needed to find a way to catalog it so I would be aware of what it is. And that's also when I started putting them in different bags. City, town, in one space, castle, and obviously all co-branded themes that are around or have been around. I mean, the obvious ones are Star Wars, which is the biggest one and has the most figures, and then superheroes, I think, is the second biggest. But then sometimes relatively short-lived. I mean, the SpongeBob one, or Ninja Turtles, or the Lone Ranger. There's like really not a lot of the Lone Ranger minifigures out there, so you can relatively quickly complete 100% of the Lone Ranger, for example. And on Brickset, if you use Brickset to keep track of your collection, you can go to collection analysis and it'll literally show you the whole breakdown. How many figures of what theme do you have, and what is the percentage of it, how many are you missing. And it's a really cool sort of way to check out where you're so close to completing a 100% of a specific theme. And yeah, I get enjoyment out of that. That's kind of cool too. Although I'm not technically a completionist per se. And that is because I'm constantly distracted all the time. You know, my ADHD is just like, oh cool, let's try this. Oh, let's do this, let's do that. So I'm never really finishing one thing. I'm just continuing on my journey and adapting as I go along. And in between, I entertain crazy ideas like I'm doing right now with that Lego table project that I'm working on. anyways, it works with my brain, with my sort of scattered brain, to just jump from one thing to another. And luckily there's so many themes and so many different things to learn and or be entertained by, that it's always changing, and that's important for me, so I don't get bored or anything. I don't really lose interest, but I always want to keep it engaging for my brain, which is why I'm thinking about how could I display them, or if I have more art or interior design kind of projects like this one, you know, what can I do to design something cool, to display the minifigs that I have, all that kind of stuff. Anyways, if you have any questions, thoughts, suggestions, anything, problems, hit me up. I'm always down to help, always down to share what I know. I think there's no real secrets here. It's all about having fun and finding something that you're into, you know? That seems to become harder for people too these days. I remember having had a hard time back in the days when I grew up, really figuring out what is it that I'm into, what do I want to do, what gives me enjoyment. So many distractions out there, and it's just not easy. I think with the amount of minifigs, 128 per base plate, I think I got enough for now. Okay, this is it. The last one on the 5th stack of this crazy endeavor. Definitely several hours in. I'll let you know in the graphics how many exactly once I put all this stuff in. But here we go. Come on. Wow, it's heavier than I thought. Here we go. My space army. I'm pretty excited. This is dope. This is so cool. I'm so happy. All of these. Yeah, baby. See you on the next one.